Hey everybody, this is Robert Price. So today we're going to continue with what we did in the previous video, just using a song and taking what I've already taught in other videos and applying it, so you can at least see how it would look and sound in the actual song. Okay, but I also want to add in something else with this video, and that's the left hand. Okay, because I haven't really covered anything with the left hand. So I'm going to kind of do both. I'm going to show you some of the inner voice and movements, little diminished things to get to the minor chord, but I'm also going to expound on what I'm doing in my left hand. Okay. Now we're going to do Here I Am to Worship. Okay. We're just going to take a part out of that song, and the song, the part that I'm going to take out is the Here I Am to Worship, Here I Am to Bow Down. Okay. Because that part is only 4 chords. So we're going to be in the key of B flat. Okay, so it sounds like this. Here I am to worship. Okay, I'm going to cover it, but I just want to do an overview. Okay, okay, that's pretty much what it is. Just those 4 chords, but I'm going to do passing chords in between, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, so I didn't really map out what type of passing chords I'm going to do. I'm just going to play it. And when something comes to my head, I'm just going to kind of break it down, all right? So the first one, let's go. The first time, of course, playing it, you want to stay basic. All right? Okay? Now, what I'm doing in my left hand, I know you saw the first chord on that B flat. All right. Now, if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, and you're learning how to, make your left hand a little bit more bigger, you've probably seen this concept, right? So if you're on any major or minor chord, you can just think of, if I'm on a B flat, what is the 5th of B flat? If you look at the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right there, you can do the 1 and a 5. Okay, that right there, will already, that would kind of thicken up your chords. So instead of doing this, okay, you can do this, and I just play another B flat at the top. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you probably already know that. If you didn't, then this is something really good. You should apply this to every chord if you're just starting out. So if you were starting from the beginning, see, you can do something like that. Hit the second chord. Now, sometimes I can do this. Okay? And this is when you're trying to, play pretty, right? I did the same thing on the in my left hand, on that 5, which is the F. I said, what is the 5th? What is the 5th away from F, right? So of course, nothing hard, nothing crazy. You just go up the F major scale until you get to the 5th note of that scale. So, which is the C. So, all right. And to just to add a little bit more flavor to it, you can do this. Okay, which is that 2 and 3 of F. In this case, it would be G and A. So it's going to be like this. Okay, so I'm holding the sustain pedal when I do it. Not the entire time. Let me see. Yeah, you can hold it the entire time, and it won't sound muddy. So yeah, you can do it just like that. Okay. So this first time around, I'm just pretty much doing the basics of the left hand, pretty much. Okay. So that's the first chord. The second chord, that F major. Okay, the third chord is that G minor. All right, and you see the notes that I hit leading up into it is G, A to that B flat. And I'm kind of going a little faster. I'm kind of breezing through it because most people kind of know this, stuff. All right, then you walk down to F. Doing the same thing in my left hand. Okay, and then you walk down to the E flat major, and I play E flat major 7. So this is how I voice my 4 chords. Okay, when I'm on a 4, I'll play. So in this case, I have D, E flat, G, and B flat. Okay, let me show you something really cool. What I'm doing in my left hand, I'm complementing my right hand. Okay, so if you have a bass player, you don't necessarily have to do this. Okay, if you want to, it's okay. So I have E flat, a fifth away from E flat is B flat. So it's the same concept on each chord. Okay, if you don't want to do that, you can play just like this. Okay, so that right there is I have the E flat major chord, but I play a C. So I could play a major 7. That's an E flat major 7, right? But I'm already playing it right here. So what I do sometimes, I just add that C in my left hand. You see how that thickens up the chord? You know? So for me, I do both. I will play down here, and then I'll come up here and play it, okay? So that's just something else, because sometimes you play by yourself, or if it's a time in worship where it's just you, even if you have a bass player, yeah, if you're playing pretty, you know, you do this. So I'll do this. Okay? So that is something. So here we go. Let's do some passing chords. Of course, before you get to that 5, you can go to that C, okay? And you can do something like this. Okay? So I started on that 1. Okay? Now I hit the 2. Okay? I didn't do too much movement in my right hand. I just, okay? So let me show you that. This was the chord. Okay? So it's like a C dominant, pretty much, if you want to think about it. That's pretty much what I did, you know. But the chord, in my left hand, I have C and B flat. Okay? Now this is kind of different, right? Because I could have done this, or played it down here to make it a little bit more lower. So I could have done this. Okay? So you don't have to forsake that. You could do that. But just showing you some more stuff with the left hand. If you want a chord in your left hand a little bit, you can do this. Okay? So that chord from the left is, I have C and B flat. Okay? In my right hand, I have E, A, and C. And I did a little twang or a flick from G, okay? So it's like I land on all of them, but I really just flick that G. So this is the chord you're really trying to get to, okay? All right, and then of course, just a regular 5. Now I'm going to show you something. So in my last video and other videos, I told you how when you're on a regular major chord, you can do a movement, inner voice and movement. So you could do this when you get to the 5. So here I am to worship. Here I am. That's when you play that. Here I am to bow down. And you could do this. No. See? So that's another way. I showed that in another video on, I think, a G major chord, I think, and a C major. But I'm just showing you again, you can do it on any major chord. So I'm going to keep stressing that. So as far as timing, it can be, here I am to worship. The first passing chord. Okay? So you may have to count that because we're getting ready to go here. All right, so of course it's all about timing. So I can count it if we're doing 4/4. So here I am to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. See, so I do that on that third count. and then it'll give you enough time to get to that G minor, okay? Now, just to let you know, like I said, I'm doing passing chords. So if you're on this F and you're gonna wait to do this, that is gonna take, the time that it takes is pretty much like doing a passing chord. So I wouldn't do this movement and then try to do a passing chord to get to that minor, okay? So I'm giving you options. That maybe the first time, once you get to that F, you just stay on the F, okay? And then you go to the G minor. But let's say that you don't want to do that type of movement on that F because you want to do a passing chord to get to the 6, okay? I hope it's not confusing you. So I'm just, just walking you through how you would play around with this song. So we're back on the 1, okay? That's the passing chord. All right, you can do this. Okay, anybody that's intermediate to advanced, usually you can do a nice diminished chord, okay, which is on that F sharp. So I'll just show you the chord, but I'm going to show you something else that you can do, okay? But the chord is it's just a regular diminished. So you have C, E flat, G flat, and A over this G flat or F sharp, okay? Then, okay, so stand in rhythm. All right, so here I am to worship. This is what we got so far. Here I am to. Then you can do this. Here I am to. Okay, or you can do this. So I'm still gonna do that 2 to get to the 5. This the 2. I get to the 5. You can do this. Let's see. Okay, that's it. See, that's the same thing. It's the diminished chord, but I think I showed you this. This was the major minor transition. So I'm just really going over things I've already done, but at least it's in a different key. And of course, I'm doing it during a song. So there's just another way you can see how you can use it. So it's before you get to that 6, you can always hit the 3 in whatever key. So there's just a passing chord. So I'm going to show you that. Okay. So it looks like it almost reminds me like a D major chord, but here we go. So I have my pinky on A in my right hand. In my left hand, I have my pinky on D. So I hit them at the same time. So the 2 notes that I hit also after that, in my right hand, I have E. In my left hand, I have G. Okay. And I'm just going to walk down chromatically with both notes. Okay. Now, I still have my outer notes out here. Okay. But this is just that inner voicing movement. Okay. And the way I get to the E, I do. Okay. So that's something that can really add a little more style to your playing when you're able to flip different notes or roll. Okay. So, I'll show you. So now your notes, you still have the outer notes, like I said, A in your right hand, D in your left with your pinkies. But your inner voicings, you have F sharp, and that's in your left, and in your right hand you have E flat, or I'll just stick saying flat. So I'll say G flat and E flat. Okay, and then you go back, and then you go to the 6. Okay. Okay. So far we've covered. So we got the 2 to the 5. All right. And if you don't want to do a passing chord to get to the 6, you can just stay on the 5. You can do that and then go to the 6. All right. Or if you don't want to do anything on the F, you just want to keep it pretty, you can wait and then do this. Okay. Now I just keep the 5 the same again. All right. So remember, if it's not easy yet for you to do this, just practice that. You should be able to hit any random note on the keyboard. So if I hit an A flat, I should be able to do this in my left hand. Okay? All right, so I'm just doing random notes. All right, so that's pretty much it for for this little part, that little part. So let's see. A lot of times on the one, I will do this. So if we're doing, okay, so over the one, I'll do something like, probably do like this. Okay, just to get to that 5. So let me quickly cover that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with the melody. Instead of just doing this, I can do something like this. All right, I can probably do this. Okay, and that's what I'm going to show you. But just really quick though, just to outline that drop 2, I did this. So you can do this on any major chord, especially when you just have a little bit of time before the next chord. I'm just breaking up a B flat major chord. So I have D in my left hand, B flat and F in my right. Okay, the next chord, I have B flat in my left. In my right, I have F and D. Then, okay, I have F in my left, and in my right hand, I have D and B flat. So that's pretty much it. You can do this on any major chord. Just look at your 3 notes, your triad, and say, okay, what's the middle note? And you just take that out and put it in the bottom. All right? Just play the different inversions. But since we're doing this song, I'll stay with the melody. So here I am to worship. And then I'm going to do, okay, we're going to do the 7 instead of the 5. That's one good replacement you can do. Instead of playing the 5, it's on the bass, you can play the 7. It sounds the same. All right? As far as the chord, but it just adds a different flair to it. But I'm going to show you this inner voice movement. So, all right. So here we go. This is the first drop 2. So we have C in our left hand, and my right I have G and E flat. And then the next chord, something I already showed you, is that B flat chord, but we got it in drop 2. So you have B flat in the left hand, and then the right hand you have F and D. Okay. Now the melody, it's like it hits it twice. So you can do that, or you can just play it once and just kind of let it go. Okay. So it's your choice. Here I am, or 2. All right. So we already covered this too. So you have F in your left. In your right hand, you have D and B flat. Okay? And then, instead of doing this, well, I'm actually going to show you this. Just in case you want to stay up here in this middle to upper register, So the way I'm playing this now, I'm not just doing a regular F major chord. I'm doing a add 2, which is the 9. It's like a sus. So I have F, G, and C. Okay? All right. And in my right hand, or my left hand, I have A. All right. It's pretty much like a drop 2, because without that G, it would look like this. Okay? It's just this time I'm adding the 9. Okay? But if you want to get a little bit more full, you can do this. So we already have this. Okay? All right? And that's how I'm going to play it. And in my left hand, this looks a little bit different than what we've been doing, right? So this is kind of cool. So on that 7, which is the A, you can play your 7 like this. Okay? when you're playing the F chord over that A, you can do this. All right? It's the same thing. What I'm doing in my left hand is just kind of mimicking what I'm doing in my right. So I have A, F, and G. And this time I'm doing like this. If I just play it, it'll be like this. So I don't necessarily do this. I'm actually going to play it at the same time, just like a full chord. Okay? So my right hand, I'm playing C, F, G, and C. That sounds really good, especially if you kind of roll it, you know? And just now noticing I did kind of, see, so never mind. Sometimes it's like, sometimes when I land on it, I would do this. Other times I'll do this, okay? So it's your choice. Just go with your ear and what you want, okay? So that's a nice way, so. Okay? And then of course you can choose if you want to do this, okay? To get to that 6. All right? A lot of times, let me see, another way you can get to that minor chord, of course, using a 3. So just, you know, you can literally keep that concept throughout your plan. That should change your plan. But you don't always have to do this. You know? With that diminished chord, you can actually change it. So let's see what I would do. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you that. So on that 7, you could do this, or you can do this. So as far as timing, once you land on it, I hit the C at the top, and I hit A. Let's see if I hit, yeah, I kind of hit at the same time. Now, inner voicing, I take the G in both hands actually. I play G, then E, then F. So, all right. There are other ways you can actually do it. But, you know, just to start off, that's another way to add a little bit more flavor. So, okay, so you play that G, E, then F, okay? And you see the fingers I'm using to play it. You know, some people probably do it a little bit different, but this is just what's comfortable for me at least. All right, so, and then we can move on. Let's see. So since we have this, we could do, let's see. No, I do that. Let me see. So we already have this. Just kind of going over it, because this video, it can get really long, so I just want to kind of, yeah, you can do this. Okay? Most people do that when you're going to the 4 anyway. It just, in this song, I think they just play a regular F major and then go down. So if you want, because you know, a lot of times you've seen this for a long time, these 4 chords, you just keep playing it over and over. So you can add 5, 1 to the 4. If you don't have those chords, I'll just give it to you really quick. So over that F, which is the 5, you can play, it's like a A flat major 7. So just in this inversion, so you have E flat, G, A flat, and C. Okay, so, and the cool thing is you just drop your thumb down, okay, on that F. All right, so the way you could chord it, you could do this. Okay, so you can still just keep that 5th in there, right, with your left hand, and then See, I always come back to that on that 4. So remember that, because if you can take what I did on the 4 here, you can put that in different keys. And like I said, it's also on a major chord. So you can do that, you know, somewhere else. So don't just limit yourself to just this one key. Okay? All right. So let me show you something else that you can do over that 5-1. Instead of just doing this, a lot of times I like to do this. So let's say we're playing a song. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. I can probably do this. So that's like a different type of chord, all right? You know, so I'm just giving you this if you want to add a little bit, you know, tension to it, you know, kind of go outside the key, you know, in that with that A flat. So this is probably like an intermediate to advanced type chord or whatever. But on your 5, of course, you can keep the same chord. A lot of times I take this chord in my right hand and put it in my left. If I have a bass player, I'll play it like this. My 5 will be this. Okay? That's thick, right? All right? I'm just going to show you that and we'll be done, okay? Because this video is very long right now. So the first chord, like I said, the chord that I showed you in your right hand, just take that to your left. Okay? Now this is pretty much if you have a bass player. So I'm kind of all over the place. I have a lot of different things I kind of showed you in this one video. But we'll keep going. We'll build upon this. So in your right hand, you have an E flat major chord. Okay? And that's on the 5. And then you go to that 1. Yeah, so you're pretty much playing a C major chord over the B flat, okay? All right, so the same chord, when you drop your thumb, that's the same chord we're going to use here. And you're playing a C major chord, first inversion. So this is root position, this is first. All right? And then, all right? So that's like kind of advanced, you know? So you want to keep that. All right? And I'm just going to stop there. I hope you was able to gain something, whether it was one thing or maybe you kind of you learned something new from this entire video. I hope this helped. Talk with you soon.